I want to give you 3 things that people will use against you. And it's so slick that you won't even recognize it. Fear, guilt, and shame. All of them are horrible emotions. Although all purposeful, they should be indicators to you about your own emotions working against you. But that's not what usually happens, because they tend to be tools of manipulators, people who will use you against yourself to master what your fears are, to find things that they know you'll feel guilty about, and to take information that was probably shared in confidence or that you experience with them to shame you about. Listen, it is time for you to master you in a way that you can never be used against you. All right? Let's do that. Hey, so this won't be long, but it will be powerful. Okay, so I decided to lose the microphone. I heard some buzzing. Did you hear the buzzing? All right, it's gone. And I decided to pull up my laptop here because I like definitions. So let's go over the definitions for fear, guilt, and shame so that we're on the same page. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about this to give you more clarity and so that you can understand how this works for you as an individual. Because nothing ever is, that is in a general sense, is general. Because you are very unique. And you've also been given some tools here on this channel to be able to help you to understand better who you are. So if you haven't already, and I'll have the link in below, in the description below, you need to go and watch the Who Am I video. Because when you understand what your priorities are, and in terms of how you think and your emotions and the behaviors, then this all makes so much more sense to you, okay? So, fear. It is an unpleasant thought or emotion that you have when you're worried, you're in danger, or feeling something painful, or something bad is happening, or it might happen. And it's anxiety producing. And today, unfortunately, but our society has totally set it up for it to be this way. Most people have anxiety because, hell, there's stressors from everywhere, and with most people. So your job is to minimize your stress. So that's fear, guilt, having committed an offense, a fact of being responsible for an offense, accepting culpability. Guilt means that you have accepted culpability. When you accept culpability, it also leaves you open to blame. To accept people blaming you for things that you may or may not be guilty of doing. When you have done something that absolutely deserves guilt, then there is a quick response to that. Own it if you did it. But it's also why you need to know who you are. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this. You need to know who you are so you can know whether or not you're being played. And if there's something you've done that you are guilty about, let me give you an example. So I have a cousin who lived with us for a while. And when she lived with us, I was 16, 17. She was about 4 or 5 years older than I was. And when I tell you that my family's culture is really about punishing you, they don't let you do something, they don't forget it. Bring the shit up constantly. And I did something that she continued to pounce on me about. You know, I accepted that, yeah, I did it. Okay. But every time I saw her, up until I was 25 years old, when I saw her or spoke to her, she was bringing that thing up again. Well, damn. I mean, God, my God, girl, what the hell? Why are we talking about this every time I talk to you? Why? That's punishment. If you do something, you own that you did it, you accept the responsibility for it. That is, in that moment, okay. Whether you recognize you did something that was wrong or not, if somebody brought it to your attention and you see, okay, yeah, I see where I could have done that better. Okay, I accept responsibility for that. That is an immediate remorse. I wish I hadn't done that. Or, yeah, I did that and I realized that wasn't right. So I've corrected this. I'm making amends for this thing. Make your amends and don't ever allow anybody else to punish you about it. If people are constantly trying to guilt you about something or blame you for something that is just part of growing up or getting better, listen, y'all, we miss it trying to make it. That's part of the growth journey, okay? All right, I got stuck on the definition and explaining that, but I think it was necessary. Shame. Shame is an unpleasant, self-conscious emotion typically associated with a negative evaluation of self, withdrawal motivations, and feelings of distress, exposure, mistrust, powerlessness, worthlessness. Those are the things that tend to follow shame. Shame is a horrible emotion. If you can own the fact that you did something, you can work through it. If you can own it, there's no need to be ashamed of it. And if somebody else is trying to force some shame on you, baby, own it. You don't ever have to, you feel powerless or you give your power away when you think somebody's about to hold something over you. Own it. Doesn't matter what it is. If you can own it, damn it, nobody can ever shame you for it. And remember, we're here to learn and grow. There is no reason to allow yourself to sit in any shame for anything you do. And a lot of times, however you grow up, whatever culture you grew up in, and your first cult, first time I said that, I blew my whole mind. The first 4 letters of culture is cult. So your first cult was your family. They have conditioned you for some shit that is probably not to your advantage. Not probably, shit, every family conditions you for things that are not to your advantage. They don't know no better. They don't do it on purpose, but they do it. Okay, so what are you conditioned for? That's the question. Because the things that you are conditioned for are the things that manipulators will use to inflict you with fear, to guilt you, and to shame you. It's why you do yourself a disservice when you don't really focus on you and make you your own favorite subject. Because the more you know you, the better you know you, the less others can manipulate you. So, what you are conditioned for has everything to do with your temperament, these layers, and everybody's going to be different, right? So these layers, it's your temperament. Let's say you are blue zoned. Most of your temperament is blue zone. Let's say you're people oriented. That would mean you're a naturally caring person. That means that you tend to put other people before yourself. Let's say that your mother was red zone or is red zone. And mom will often use the fact that you are blue zone and naturally caring and will put her before you. So she will constantly ask you, even as an adult, to do things. And because you're naturally people-oriented, you continue to do them. You continue to yield, but mom just keeps coming. And if mom is red zone and goal-oriented, have a very choleric nature, y'all have a really contentious relationship. And at some point, you are going to have to develop to the point that you establish some boundaries for red zone mama. Now, if we swap that, and there's a red zone child and a blue zone mama, then that blue zone mama might be trying to guilt that red zone child based on her people orientation when that child does not feel the same way. Do you understand that who we are naturally set us up for conflict, and why you cannot neglect personal development? You can't neglect personal growth. And if you're neglecting personal growth, fear, guilt, and blame are just going to be a part of your life. Major part. It doesn't need to be. Doesn't need to be a major part. None of that is a major part of my life. Because I know who I am. And you're about to get to know better who you are. Because all of these things are indicators. Well, what is fear an indicator of? Well, fear will always point to parts of you that you need to strengthen. Whatever the fear is, it will identify parts within you. If you're on a personal growth journey, which you are now, and you'll never be off of it. It's not a class you go and take. It is something you practice every single day. All right? Yeah, I'm pointing at you. So, yes, fear is an indicator. Guilt, too, can be an indicator. But if you tend to allow guilt to govern you, then it's got a strong hold on you. And you have your own levels of work to do with that. Where does the guilt come from? Is it part of your natural temperament? Is it part of the environmental influences? Is it part of, and when I talk about environmental influences, then I have a whole separate something that covers that. And I usually do that when I'm teaching my courses. And I'll provide a way for you to get on the lists of when those courses open up. But you think about the environmental influences, like your parental love or the lack thereof, different experiences you've had in relationships where, because of your temperament, there are certain kinds of things that you feel guilt for on a regular basis. Well, that is your work. This is life school, y'all. You're in life school. You came here with the temperament you have, to strengthen those strengths and to safeguard those weaknesses, to get better at being you. That's why you came. A shame. We're not going to allow none of that. We won't allow folk to shame us. There's nothing to be ashamed of. If you did something, you did it. We came here to learn and grow. The more you learn, the more you grow, it increases your capacity to love yourself first. And then as you fill that cup, baby, then you can love others from your overflow. Otherwise, you've got deficits, and whenever you love without a full cup, then you put yourself in a position for others to manipulate you. So a full cup is not optional. All right? That's all I got for today. We'll talk again soon, because I'm not going anywhere. YouTubing is what I do. See you on the next video. If you have not turned on your notifications, turn it on so that you'll know when the next video hits. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. And we're on this journey. I'll keep sharing. All right? It's your life. Choose it just as it is. Own it. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Change it. As long as you can breathe and learn, it can get better. Bye for now.